Hey guys, Lovely Freeman here again. Today we're continuing our Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich mod campaign as good France over here. And so last time we just sent some volunteers over to Spain. That's probably what we're going to be doing for most of this episode here, is trying to win the war for the Carlists. And hopefully they'll join the Entente, and that'll keep Gibraltar in friendly hands and make controlling the Mediterranean a little bit easier for us. Also, that give us a land border with the Commune, which is also desirable to have. Obviously, it's easier to fight on land than to deal with naval invasions. So we've got our tank division over here, and we'll see what we can get done. And what do we want here for our next technology? We might want construction. Let's go ahead and get construction, I guess. And we're working down this industry path over here. The civilian factory, then we'll go to get our economy law up, and then we'll go to get that King Edward's address. It's another kind of stock event. So that's the same event, I guess. The Federation over there, I guess. So we'll get a little bit of political power for that. Bedouin raid. I guess this is like another continuing event over here that we're just gonna get shit on by these events, kind of like Little Africa or something. Well, Denver. Lewis. Jesus Christ, spam. Louis Blériot dies. Louis Blériot, born in 1872, engineer, inventor, and pioneer of French aviation, has died of cardiac arrest at his Algiers villa at only 64 years old. Fascinated with the idea of flying, inspired by the prototypes of French engineer Clement Ader and the successes of the Wright brothers, Blériot put the profits of his automobile parts business towards creating the creation of a flying machine. First encountering so many failures, the press derisively nicknamed him the King of Crashing. He eventually achieved worldwide fame and recognition after being the first to cross the channel in an airplane in 1909 in only 37 minutes. A living legend of aviation, even being attributed to the first pilot's license, he created a successful firm building his ever-improving designs. With the Great War, he specialized in light reconnaissance planes, his company producing eventually more than 10,000 planes for the French army. At the outbreak of the revolution, Blériot fled to Algeria. Like so many others, successfully re-implemented his business. Blériot Aeronautique, the marshal, encouraging research development in any field with potential to help becoming more effort, eventually running as a candidate for the Parti Radical. Following his death, the government has put out a statement honoring his contribution to the field of aviation and to the war effort, as well as his resilience facing his early setback, calling him an example to all Frenchmen in these difficult times. The creation of a Louis Blériot medal to be awarded to record setters in speed, altitude, or distance in light aircraft is also announced. Long live the Roi de la Casse. Nationalist Algerian books seized. The stash is well hidden in the basement of a building in the narrow street of a European city in Algeria. Opening the door of the basement led to the sight of a full stock of nationalist literature, most of it outrageously anti-French, and all of it strictly forbidden. All the books have been seized by the police to not let them badly influence anyone again, and the two Algerians present at the time of the intervention were arrested for treason. Further inquiry has established that the basement belonging to a young Pied Noir living in the district and sympathetic to the nationalist cause, who was consequently arrested too. Those Pieds Noirs betraying their own country are a real thorn in their feet, as they have to be judged by French law and defended accordingly. They can also use their privileges to easily build a web of Pieds Noirs militants across cities and rent places like the one we just raided to organize. But it is also a cultural disappointment. How bad is the education system for this youth to turn out as treasonous as they are? We can't even trust our own compatriots anymore. Damn cynical scum. I think we might go for like an encirclement over here. I mean, that is a mountain tile though, which kind of sucks, but it's only a militia unit defending it. So where would be the best place maybe to get something, make something happen here? Mountains aren't like the greatest for us. We are making artillery, right? Let's maybe get ourselves some artillery. Or no, we're not making artillery. So that'd be a bit of a waste. Let's get ourselves, we don't have recon company researched even, so we can't do that. Maybe we push into these hills over here. War credits, the army supervision. Come on, like really? Murder rocks the Casbah. As he was on his way to the city, Ramadan Mosque, the great mufti of Algiers, Mahmoud Bendali, was surrounded by two men stabbed in the heart, dying on the spot. The two perpetrators were caught after a quick investigation and confessed to the murder, justifying their actions by saying the mufti had acted against Islamic faith and was little more than a puppet of the infidels. Appointed by the colonial authorities, first as imam then as mufti, unpopular and frequently brazenly critical of even mild reformist talk, Bendali had many powerful enemies. After a rough interrogation session, the murderer confessed to being merely a pawn in the greater scheme, offered thousands of francs to kill the imam by the true mastermind behind the crime, a prominent member of the Reformist Association of Algerian Muslim Ulama, Tayyab el-Okbi. Already banned from preaching in mosques by colonial authorities, the man had been under police surveillance for some time, suspected of conspiring against the state under the pretense of religious reform. He was immediately arrested and is awaiting trial. However, many Algerians and some Frenchmen believe this is a conspiracy, and that El-Okbi was falsely implicated in this affair by colonial police eager to have the inconvenience disappear. Whether the accusation is true or not, this case is quickly turning into an embarrassment. We could drop charges against El-Okbi somewhat losing face, preventing any further unrest and possibly gaining an ally within the association. Or we could keep him in jail, getting rid of a prominent indigene leader and sowing dissent among the ulemas. We can't let him roam free. Yes, we'll take a political power. Is that a premium for us? Firepower. Get one oil, I guess, from somewhere. These guys just like to keep on attacking, don't they? Let's go for the attack and reliability. Ourselves a little counterattack there. Let's get our expansion factories there. No, I did not want to do that. These are supposed to be regular infantry. A Legionnaire. The latest movie starring comedic superstar Fernandel, a Legionnaire, has been, like almost everything the actor touches, a success. A master of physical comedy and slapstick, adding it to talent for singing. His movies generally featuring a few humorous songs and then prove to be successes in their own right. He has often been compared to American actor Charlie Chaplin. This time, the actor plays Fernand, a henpecked husband who, after getting knocked out, wakes up in a caravan heading towards the Algerian interior. His identity papers stolen and replaced by new ones. He is now another man, a new volunteer in the French Foreign Legion. Incapable of explaining the situation to his officer, Fernand is called to fight some unruly tribe in the Sahara Desert. Despite early mishaps, quickly finds military life much more enjoyable than his marriage, and especially much less disciplined. Now truly a whole new man, he is eventually tracked down by his wife, but instead chooses to re-enlist under his real name, becoming a veritable hero and eventually being awarded the Legion of Honor. The humorous tale has proven particularly popular among veterans. Fernandel did it again. Clash against the Tuaregs. The war led against the Tuaregs of Niger, so that would be the same thing, I guess. Yeah, so I think it's the same event as before. So like, there we go. Our RIP, air compliance and shit. Yeah, Renault. Federals have collapsed already. So yeah, that we should probably just start switching over to that. Right to criticism, though the Barrett emphasized the need for a strong United Nation in the face of the arduous task in hand, he has been met with some resistance, particularly from disappointed former allies who had hoped that with the fall of Pétain, democracy would be immediately restored, believing that mere promises of elections and a new constitution are not enough. Some dare to whisper that the Comité is merely a front for a new dictatorship under Mordac, and already some intellectuals and politicians openly criticize the general. However, one thing that was restored immediately after the fall of Pétain is freedom of expression. These men have the right to speak their mind no matter how wrong they are, and how potentially destabilizing this kind of talk is. We can simply let it go and hope the debate runs its course so we can take a more proactive approach, one possibility of using legal means to silence his critics, like accusing them of defamation. Juries no doubt rule in our favor and force these men to publicly recant. I guess we'll do that. Trans-Sahara, we'll finish the Trans-Sahara project, I guess. So what's this tile over here? We might have an opportunity over there actually. Get ourselves out. Alright, so we got that. War support, production efficiency cap, infrastructure, consumer goods factories. Let's go for the consumer goods factories. Henri Count of Paris published The Proletariat, a short historical and political essay of the working class. In the essay, the hair traces back the origins of the poor working and living conditions of the proletariat to the Revolution of 1789. A bourgeois coup that he claims turned the proud artisans and farmers of old into proletarians by destroying traditional structures, his guilds, enabling economic liberalism. He chronicles the slow descent of into indignity of the working classes over the last century and a half, caused by usurious industrial capitalism and new illegitimate elites culminating in the 1919 revolution, an event that he considers engineered by nefarious forces exploiting the legitimate grievances of the masses. Professor Henri then makes a passionate case for the monarchy, the only regime he claims could truly restore the dignity of the people by upholding the tradition of the social doctrine of the church. The work was well received and sold well thanks to the tireless promotion by the Action Française and praised by influential clergy, already being translated in multiple languages and published abroad, though some were shocked by the violence of Henri's denunciation of capitalism and the bourgeoisie. Curiously, it was even received praise, sometimes genuine, but and mostly amused from the commune. Maybe it should be nicknamed the Red Count. CGTT starts a strike. Fédération Générale des Travailleurs Tunisiens, General Confederation of the Tunisian Workers, was founded in the 1920s by Mohamed Ali El Hemi, a noted sympathizer with syndicalists beyond the sea. We of course quickly put him out at the time and forbade the CGTT, but didn't stop it from existing underground. The union always was close from the Tunisian nationalists of the Destor Party, and the two underground organizations often worked together. This time they worked to foment a strike amongst the Tunis dockers in several factories in the south of Tunisia and Tunis. If syndicalist propaganda wasn't already threatening enough, the strikes have also put to the forefront a word of independence for Tunisia. An absurdity, of course, but one of these workers seem to believe in. Anyway, it's going to be the time for a bit of cleansing in the dockers, the ports of Tunis, and if strikers won't disperse themselves, we'll have to send in the army. This is a first warning. Return to work, or we'll have to use force. Yeah, lots of that stuff going on, I guess. Get some concentrated industry.
Attention. Bougez-vous.
All of Beijing. Be able to grab this and be able to kill these two guys over here. Excellent, excellent. There's two regular infantry divisions in that tile too, that's pretty nice. Let's go over here. And how much do we need for a medium tank battalion? 50 medium tanks. Okay, whatever. We'll join the war against fucking Puerto Rico. Do you really need your help for that, Canada? Really? Oh shit! I shouldn't have accepted because now we lose our volunteers to Spain. Oh, that's a piss off. Fuck. Second Bureau. A new movie has taken French cinemas by storm. Deuxième Bureau, directed by Pierre Bellon. After numerous production delays and a harsh reception by critics, the commercial successes of this thrilling tale of espionage is a surprise. Telling the story of Captain Benoit, played by Jean Marat, sent on a mission by the Second Bureau, our elusive military intelligence agency, to seize the blueprints of the latest red weapon in the very heart of the commune. This movie has it all: action, suspense, of course, romance. Of course, the handsome captain is eventually noticed by communard counterintelligence, who sends their best agent after him, Elise, true femme fatale, tasked with seducing the agent. Of course, the two fall in love and plan on escaping together. As the communards realize this, she sacrifices herself and dies in her lover's arms, forcibly reminded of his duty to France. Critics hated it, calling it cheap entertainment, and yet the public loved it and asked for more, dismissing rumors that the firm received state funding to transform the public image of the secretive and sometimes sinister agency as mere communard propaganda. This be the start of a series. They're naval invading with whatever this is over here. This is... oh god. Oh, bloody mess. Use your Marines or something, Canada. What are you doing? Eid al-Fitr. Today marks the end of Ramadan, a holy month during which Muslims are not permitted to eat. So that's the, I think the same event we had before.
Aux ordres. Gardez vos rangs. Gardez vos rangs. Attention.
Maybe exercise these guys, I guess.
Attention.
We'll have these guys guard our... get our ports.
Attention. Pareil.
I don't think I have any Marines or anything like that either that would actually even be able to help with this. Do we have air? You can try. We can do that, I guess. Paroles. The mobilization of the nation has been chugging along, and finally a brighter future for France is being prepared by the Comité. Some still remain doubtful. Prominent voices among the veterans of the democratic cause have now joined the usual naysayers. So they support Henri Mordac. They seem to find cause for concern and worry in seemingly every little action taken by the government. And the media relishes in reporting on every front page these doubts expressed by friends and allies of the Bear. Finally free from censorship, it seems journalists are relishing in this effort to tear down the man who restored freedom of expression. The government has so far ignored the situation, but letting this criticism go unanswered much longer could durably undermine the new regime and jeopardize their efforts to save the nation. Of course, restoring censorship would be unthinkable, but there exists legal means to stifle this flow of defamation. However, we could also take a softer approach by setting up regular press conferences broadcast to our people. The president of the Comité could directly address criticism and clear any doubt anyone might have about his allegiance to the Republic or to democracy. I guess we'll spend the political power on that. Like, King Edward tours French Republic. Okay, so we're gonna have... see how Edward embarrasses himself this time. Alright, so we got war. Production efficiency cap and growth is pretty good. We all want to start working towards this research a lot, though. Get our supreme command. $71 over here. These accused. Directed by the controversial and successful Abel Gance, pioneer of filmmaking and well known for his historical dramas, as well as his ingenious editing and special effects technique. 20 years in the making, I Accuse is a peculiar war story taking French cinema by storm, telling the story of love, rivals turned friends in the battlefield of the Great War, before the futile death of one and the slow descent to shell-shocked insanity of the other. But it is the ending that has the most divided opinion. As a crazed man who had vowed to end all wars, temporary relapses into sanity to find that the world is getting ready for a new great conflict. He springs into action, and a supernatural storm calls on millions of dead of the Weltkrieg, regardless of their nationality, to rise from the grave and punish the living for their foolish obsession with mutual destruction. All of Europe, the dead of countries here, his call, united march on, creating mass panic and preventing another war. Accused of pacifism, of sullying the memory of our war heroes by some, praised by his skill for others, Gance escaped censorship due to his links with veterans associations. Indeed, many veterans were employed during the filming of the movie, and in particular many gels, casses, broken faces for the great finale. The dead might not rinse and march on to prevent a second Weltkrieg, but the dead might not rise and march on to prevent a second Weltkrieg, but those disfigured by the last war want to have their voices heard as war frenzy in our nation rages on. They're coming to get you, Wilhelm. There's millions of them now. Okay. Royal speech poorly received. Thanks, Edward. Dick. I made some choice comments regarding the rudeness of the hecklers. Turned out to be wounded veterans. Oh dear. Dalaba mission attacked. The beautiful hillside that regularly supports host tourists now lies the scorched husk of its former self. Dalaba has been the site of a civilizing mission since 1924, when the mission first chose the location to begin their ministry to the local population. Nearby homes built in the traditional style of the Fula people with the grass roofs did not fare well when a mob of natives, angry over continued presence of Christian missionaries, bringing the gospel to their people and disrupting their former way of living, torched the town. Tragedy. Some martial law and would die. Project nears completion. Long have we dreamed of this day, even during some of the darkest days of France's history, our people have been able to persevere and display their resilience to the world. The Trans-Saharan Railway shall be our show of force. The French people are not defeated. The country stands strong. Even at the height of our power, before the First Weltkrieg, many doubted our ability to create such a feat of engineering as this railway. We will show the Commune and the watching world that, in spite of our exile, the French people's spirit still burns as bright as ever. Our country shall be united soon. Yeah, like these events are they just don't stop. It's like event after event, and it's like I would like to go and deal with some other stuff, but you can't do it because you get spammed so much. And chat with the bear. The past weeks have proved difficult for the Comité as criticism grew from all sides. Some wanted censorship, Mordac refused, and instead cooler heads prevailed. A press conference broadcast for people live would be organized to dispel these accusations. When the bear entered the room in full uniform, his numerous medals awarded for his long years of service to the France glistening in the spotlight, the room fell silent, as the men who had spoken so much against him were too intimidated by the now almost legendary general to open their mouths. It took a particularly brave foreign journalist to ask the one question in everyone's mind. General, will you uphold the fundamental liberties of Frenchmen? And finally Mordac spoke. It is true that we live in extraordinary times, and as such extraordinary measures are necessary. This is no longer the time for discussion, but the time of action. And action, true action, action that produces results, requires a single will. We must unite if we want to win, and we must win for the salvation of France. However, and this has always been my promise to our people, these measures are indeed extraordinary and will not be maintained for more than they are necessary. Democracy has always been the hope of not only France, but all of Europe. I simply ask my fellow Frenchmen to trust the Comité and myself to lead them to victory. It will not be easy, but internal dissensions would make it impossible. Fundamental liberties have been restored, and I ask to use them wisely for the sake of our patrie. He's right, it's time to put our differences aside. What a guy. And you still can't take Puerto Rico, can we? Oh, we're not at war anymore, so I guess we did. We did. Volunteers to Spain. Maybe also send some air volunteers. How are we doing on tanks? We have enough to swap a division out, so you can be medium tanks now. Yes, there you go.
Écoutez.
And let's go ahead and pick up. What are we researching right now? We're still researching tanks, so that's fine. Get yourselves that industrial company. So we should get the IIDC decision thing again soon. So invest 25 political power. Get yourself some more tungsten. IIDC advisors, construction speed, consumer goods factories and factory output for a year. Let's go with the construction speed for now. Good at 4 speed.
Attention.
Apparently we're able to, I guess because we have a medium tank, probably we're able to resist their tank unit.
Pas de pitié.
So we can maybe counterattack these guys once their org runs out. Feed. It's great for us, I guess. Sure, take some feed. It's a fade to excellence from Marseille. With tensions escalating even further, it is hardly surprising that popular culture in our country would reflect that fact. Indeed, the latest song to top the charts in France is called "They Make Excellent Frenchmen," performed by Maurice Chevalier, star of musical comedy and kingpin of French show business. The song lists all the characteristics of a group of soldiers and officers, all coming from different walks of life, all in different occupations, many middle-aged and with families of their own, of different faiths, races, and political opinions, all with their own little ailments, and yet, as the chorus states, all of them make excellent Frenchmen, excellent soldiers. Catchy and comedic, it's the song's underlying call for unity as our nation is faced with its greatest struggle yet, and this exaltation of the French infantryman, always ready to leave everything behind and forget himself in the fight to defend his motherland, that's made its immense success. A nation where everything is mobilized for the coming war effort like ours, each and every one of us can identify with the sentiment. We will fight and we will win because we must retake our home. They march in step, they're no longer used to it, but it's like riding like a bicycle. You never forget. You never forget, I guess. Okay. We can push these guys out. Be a bit of an ass, wouldn't it? Planes we have. You're gonna send 15 planes. Like, I don't know. Is that even worth it? Let's send these guys back over here. Well, one militia was enough to like tip it in our favor, huh? Maybe not. River crossing. I wonder how we got that penalty. So there's one infantry there. Let's also start training some more. Left. I got Supreme Command. Get that. Made some planning to break that. Of course, a hill tile. So some more medium tanks. Alright, so get that. I think that pinches off these two units over here. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not able to do it fast enough. Oh, whatever. down over here and try and punch it over there. Like, we might be able to counterattack these guys here too. Knight monks of St. Croix. In the heights of above Oran stands a citadel built centuries ago by the Spaniards, the fort of St. Croix. Taken over and restored after the conquest of Algeria, the fort was until recently a secondary garrison. However, the sleepy citadel has been bustling with activity for the last few months. A school was created there by the regime to educate the future elites of the nation. Under the leadership of Lieutenant Pierre Donoyer de Segonagsk, a young and fiery officer, and René de Norrois, a military chaplain beloved by his men, the National School of Cadres of Oran have created an innovative 6-month curriculum to shape hundreds of the brightest youth of the nation to leaders worthy of serving France. With strict discipline, exemplary morality, strenuous physical exercise, inspired by scoutism and military training, long hours of study, and a deep sense of camaraderie, Lieutenant Donoyer de Segonagsk hopes to create a new man entirely dedicated to national interests. Interestingly, the students in their retreat between sea and sky have begun to shape the spirit of the school themselves, nicknaming Donoyer de Segonagsk Old Chief. Though the man is barely 30, they have styled themselves as a knightly order, with a motto and a coat of arms swearing an oath to France and their comrades, development embraced by the direction of the school as the romantic image of the school brings even more volunteers. However, St. Croix's independence is worrying some within the government, while others consider the school to be slowly but surely into a personality cult around the Old Chief. It is not a cult, plain and simple, given the increasingly mystical Catholic devotion fostered by Padre de Norrois. What should be done? I don't know, that's pretty memey. Let's just go with it, I guess. Next over here, like, I don't know what we'll be researching. Probably mech, if anything. We don't need that company yet. Maybe we should go conscription or get some army law. Let's go conscription. We'll need that manpower. And announces ambition, so that's nice for Japan. Collapse of German Africa. In 1897, German Foreign Secretary von Bülow had argued that the colonial policy of the empire was simply to throw no one into the shade, but to get our own place in the sun. Despite these conciliatory words, for close to 2 decades, the embassy observed as we spread French civilization and built a globe-spanning empire. We're the ones who rebuked their attempts at expansion. They made us pay this dearly. Utterly defeated in Africa, their subjects breathing a sigh of relief as the Teuton yoke was finally lifted. We were nevertheless forced to concede to Germany much of our colonies as part of the conditions of the 1919 armistice. We had hoped this would be a temporary measure, that renegotiations could help us get more favorable terms. The revolution swiftly ended those hopes. Exiled to Algeria, we could only watch in horror as the Germans annexed our possessions and those of Belgium, then taking over the colonies of our British allies when they too fell to socialism. The Kaiserreich created a monster, an incomprehensible behemothric patchwork of previous administrations and renegotiated treaties stretching from Abidjan to Dar es Salaam. But we have finally been vindicated, the Kaiser having appointed his protege von Göring as head of the chimeric Deutsche Mittelafrika. The overambitious flying ogre only managed to catastrophically lead the colonies under the crushing weight of his incompetence. The fragile construct collapsed. Much of the Africa is now in a state that can only be described as anarchic as European colonists struggle for dominance or for survival, depending on their location. Some within our administration argued this is a perfect time to march south and reconquer what is ours. It is simply too early. Germans still claim that the situation will soon be under control and we cannot afford to antagonize them before the mainland is reconquered. We will bide our time observing and contacting our former native allies. Perhaps sooner rather than later they will come back under our influence. I believe the Poches call this Schadenfreude. Okay, so I guess Middle Africa blew up. It is a bit silly that you don't get the ability to like do anything off the back of that. It's a That's good. So these guys get pocketed off, so that's fine. An audience with Goli Egbo. Surrounded by his female guards, the Mino, better known to Westerners as the Amazons, clad in his finest traditional attire and wielding his Rasad, the axe-shaped royal scepter, the elderly king of Dahomey welcomed in his palace of Abomi our envoy, who lavished him with gifts, praise, and with one demand, to establish a treaty of friendship and commerce that united our two nations since 1894. The king promptly accepted, and his court cheered. This seemingly spontaneous display of royal power was, however, the result of weeks of negotiations between French representatives and King Agoli Agbo. With the collapse of German African order, many native leaders have suddenly been thrust into positions of actual leadership for the first time in decades. Some, like Agoli Agbo, have managed to somewhat reassert their traditional authorities over the people. However, Dahomey is still in disarray. German remnants still lurk, and the king simply lacks the resources to truly re-establish order over the territory or the whole former colony, particularly over the northern peoples such as the fierce Bariba and their Wasangari horsemen, vastly different from his own Fon people. As such, Agoli Agbo needed allies, and as his former masters, we were his first and perhaps only choice. We must recognize, however, that he smartly used our tense relationship with Germany in these negotiations. We not simply march our way down to the Gulf of Guinea as the Kaiser still claims dominion over the region, and so we must settle on unofficial protectorate, surrounding the king with advisors and shoring up his hold in the country with our resources. Well, this is a joyous day. French diplomacy has secured us the first step towards the reconquest of our African empire. Come back, Your Majesty. So I guess it says we puppeted them? Dahomey over here. Yeah, so I guess they're a French puppet. So we got our boy. Okay, and he's in the Entente now. Now we're doing on tanks. Garrison attack in French Sudan. Fort under attack, fort under attack. Such is a telegram that was received at the colonial headquarters of Bamako. A fort manned by a French garrison was under attack by rebellious natives again. The headquarters sent a force with armored cars to stop the attack and repel the rebels. Fortunately, the rebels flew quickly upon seeing the rescuing force, and the fort has seen little damage, but still a few of our men fell in the attacks and destroying a message to other natives of the area. We have to be careful. An outrage. Probably focus our efforts over there.
Pas de pitié. Pareil.
Terrorist attack on the Tunisian railway. So that's wonderful. Oh, how much motorized? We have like 1,000 motorized. Let's maybe add ourselves, get ourselves a little bit thicker here in this tank division.
Pareil.
Terrorist attack on the Tunisian railway. Boom! Resonating as if the communards just bombed the city, the detonation woke up a lot of the inhabitants in the suburbs of the city. Terrorists have planted a bomb on the railway line passing into Tunis. This line is instrumental to the supply of the region, even though the reparation won't take too long. The message sent stays clear. In case of war, the terrorists could cut our supply lines with a simple explosion. Damn them.
Continuez d'avancer.
Cyrenaica joins the Cairo Pact. Saudi-Omani War. So maybe that's new. These guys back here. I don't really like fighting when we're under strength, though. Let's just get some planning. Alright, so we got that, and we need to get our research slots. I guess we do mass concentration here. Get ourselves some extra manpower, and that's always welcome, I suppose. Canadians sent a tank too. That's pretty cool. It's good to have tanks. Algerian Muslim Scouts. In 1935, a scouting troop for Muslim boys was created by Mohammed Bourris, supported by reformists, ulamas, traditional elites, and reform-minded Frenchmen, all hoping that scouting would promote physical and moral education, character building, and sense of responsibility, as well as duty to Allah and the motherland. Hundreds of troops have been created since, proving popular among all classes. Many young boys and teenagers flock to them, drawn by promises of adventure, a sense of belonging, as well as the dashing uniforms with red and green bandanas. Drawing from Lord Baden-Powell's books, boys learn how to camp and survive, sing songs, participate in religious ceremonies like Eid or Maulid, where they parade in uniform. The group's even organizing mass khitan, circumcision of boys around 7 years old, on the occasion of much celebration that poor families could otherwise not afford. However, these groups have remained largely isolated from each other, merely sharing values, a flag, and a uniform. As such, representatives from the various groups have asked the colonial administration for its blessing to create a federation of Algerian Muslim Scouts that would permit greater cooperation and uniformization of scouting practices among the indigenes. Already prominent native voices like Farat Abbas and a diverse coalition of French reformists campaigned for official approval of such a federation, arguing that it would promote traditional values along with loyalty to France. While some more conservative Pieds Noirs argue that Boy Scouts are groomed for a red-green jihad by the syndicalist agents of Masali Hajj. The native scouting is a bad idea altogether, and that the patrie they are loyal to is not France but Algeria. More pragmatic voices in government argue that giving our approval to this federation would grant us much greater oversight over a largely autonomous initiative. I guess we'll do it. We'll see how that goes. Let's get a research lab, throw that on mechanized, start making some nice tank divisions. And we'll see. Attack on patrol in Niger. So I think we've seen this event before. Just another congratulations. I hope you enjoy being having resistance all over the place. Event. So some planning here. Starting to churn out some tanks, so that's nice. Pushing over here. Maybe go to Saragossa and try and pocket off those guys. I guess we get the French medium tank models. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's see if we can take the city here. Zambia capitulates. Wunderbar. That's not encircling anymore, so why bother? Let's maybe try and bring our tank over the other way. There's like planes tiles and stuff over here we can push into Barcelona. A shipment from the communes captured. Our police have worked well. They were on the beach at the exact moment the small discreet boat coming from Spain was supposed to land in Algeria. And the boat weapons, supplies, along with nationalist and syndicalist books all sent from the commune and smuggled through Spain. We know the communards have been supplying the Algerian resistance for years, sending whatever helps the cause by whatever means they can. However, our police have made it clear today with this arrest that smuggling will not be tolerated, and we congratulate them for their effort to keep the country united. Excellent, cool. We get some free commie guns, so that's, I don't know, that's neat, I guess. push out this unit here. I probably want to do that. That's a mountain tile. Works 32. Let's add another medium tank here. Confrérie Notre Dame. A wide network of informants within the commune has recently been integrated within our wider intelligence network in the metropole, and already provided us with crucial information regarding military installations and planning, communist influence within our dominion, as well as potential targets to bring over to our side or take down. Founded earlier this year by Louis de la Bardouanie, a winemaker from Dordogne, and now headed by our smuggled agent Gilbert Renault, now operating with the pseudonym Colonel Remy. The network operates primarily in the west of France, recruiting mostly among the numerous Catholics disgruntled by the anti-clerical practices of the syndicalist government, including a high number of women such as Jeanette Guyot. As such, the deeply Catholic Colonel Remy has chosen for the network the codename CND, or short for Our Lady Confraternity, opening to put the efforts of these heroes under the protection of the Virgin Mary. Good luck, Colonel. Cool. So I guess we get some intel. And these guys have been like training, so like you guys don't need to train anymore. Put you guys there. And I'll have you guys train, I suppose. We might as well train if we can. And we still have the equipment for it, so we'll do it. Train. We need to get out of here immediately. Yeah, we're gonna get circled. So we can take out that militia, that'd be great. Got mass concentration. Two bonuses for field hospital. It's like field hospital is like super expensive. Like if I was gonna pay for that, I would I'd almost certainly get more production costs. Let's get the extra hardness and next speed. I would certainly rather have engineers, I think, for the cost. Military factory, let's just build one over here. Yeah, I think probably we just need military factories like at this point in time. Which is unfortunate because our civilian factory count is like not that great, but you know, Craig 2 is coming. Yeah, we got rifle clay to reclaim. Political power, that's nice. It's awesome planning bonus, I guess.
Paré. Écoutez. Paré. Bougez-vous.
Oh shit, I learned the Mediterranean, I shouldn't have clicked past that.
Continuez l'attaque.
Let's grab this tile first here.
Pas de pitié.
See if we can take Barcelona. A bit of a risky proposition, but like you might be able to do it. We're still at 45.
Paré. Attention.
Alright, so yeah, it's some guys over here. We're not gonna get circled, so that's nice. Got that, let's get a research slot. What's countermeasures do? I guess it's probably anti-tank, maybe. I don't know. Pick that up. Things look pretty good for the car list right now. Alright. Look, all these guys up here should be having a pretty rough day.
Visez bien. Bougez-vous.
These guys over here.
C'est parti.
Wave of sabotage without any previous notice, so this is like, I think the same event we had previously. Like that's a piss off, let's go repair our factories.
Continuez d'avancer.
Damn terrorist scum.
Pas de pitié.
Sometimes life is hard, I guess, when you're a legitimate government.
C'est parti.
And after that, I guess we go for that mech.
Paré.
Which we'll of course try to use to get some Amtraks out, I guess. Everyone likes Amtraks.
Bougez-vous.
Particularly if you think you're going to have to be doing naval invasions, Amtrak's pretty awesome. Now, so this is that railway sabotage event again. How's our resistance doing? 51 still in Niger. Let's go with the martial law in Niger as well. So see if we have to move our guys over. So this is getting pretty bad over here too, actually. Niger Desert. Sombre Dimanche. Sombre Dimanche, Gloomy Sunday is a melancholic song telling the sinister story of a spurned lover who commits suicide. Addressing from beyond the grave the man who left her. Composed by a Hungarian exile in the Commune in 1935, the song made its way across the world, first becoming a mainstay of seedy concert halls and cabarets before reaching mainstream audiences when it was first recorded in French by the popular singer Damia. In these trying times, it's hardly surprising that the peoples of Europe and beyond are prone to melancholy. However, rumors have been circulating about the song that it is linked with an ever-increasing number of suicides in France and the United States and the composer's homeland, Hungary, and that merely listening to the tune could push even the cheeriest individual towards suicidal ideation. Whether this is a fact, a mere urban rumor, or a clever marketing campaign, the song has already been banned from airing on the radio or even being sung publicly in more than a few countries, which only adds to the credibility of rumors about the now infamous Hungarian suicide song. Here too a debate has raged on the question of a potential ban, an almost welcome break from the usual political fracas. But it's time for the government to act, which should be done, so we can either choose to lose 13 manpower or ban the song. I don't know, manpower minus 13, so I guess it does. I guess 13 of our soldiers like fucking killed themselves. Like, I guess 13, like that's a pretty superstitious number to have too, I guess. So whatever. Over here. Take Valencia. Let's go over to Cartagena. Now we drive to La Mancha, I guess. Alrighty. Yeah, killed the CNT, beautiful. Excellent. Next step to help our fellow Catholics beat these, I don't know, Reichspakt stooges. Cuba has joined the Reichspakt. Let's go this way. Wounded. Let's go with 10 factories on that for now. Let's get some more rifles. How are we at motorized? Still, like, lots of motorized we got. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad call. Yeah, we'll stick with this. Let's get maybe one more onto a rifle. It looks like there's lots of opportunities up here. Monsef Bey, rumored to help Tunisian nationalists. Secret police threw a concerning report on the desk of the French general, resident in Tunisia. The document tells about known Tunisian nationalists entering the Beylikal Palace in which Prince Monsef Bey resides. These members of the nationalist Destour party aren't the most important ones. They aren't Habib Bourguiba or Abdelaziz Talbi. But most of them are suspected of treason. They come in now and leave the palace discreetly and transporting nothing but there is no doubt that Bey is transmitting them important pieces of information. Monsef Bey is the son of one of the previous honorary monarch of the Protectorate of Tunisia, Nakour Bey, and is the grandnephew of the current ruling Bey, Ahmed II. He's always been remarked for his opposition to the French regime. He doesn't hide too much of his likening for the Tunisian nationalists. The situation is particularly concerning considering Monsef is next on line in the succession to the statute of Bey after Ahmed II. Whatever he is actually doing to help these terrorists, an opponent can't be tolerated this close to power. With our important military presence and intervention to secure the Bey should meet a lot of resistance. Oof. Yes, we'll have to arrest him. We can't take any risks. Sublime Ottoman Federation. New federal state. Gross. Gross. Like, isn't the Ottomans supposed to be like an empire? Like, what are they, a democracy now or some shit? Social liberal. Oh, I feel so bad for these Ottomans. How will you ever restore your imperial glory now? I guess, yeah. So they're no longer an empire. They're social liberals. Okay. Third Arab Congress. Aren't these guys like supposed to have like, I don't know, a Chiropact war or some shit? I guess that's done. Maybe that's moved to a decision or something then. Let's see what shenanigans Farouk gets up to. We start on our mechanized. Let's get production efficiency, and then we can grab our mechanized with the research slot that we get. Our guy's injured, so like that's. And this is a river, which is unfortunate because we can't use our bridges ability. Yeah, let's go this way. Yeah, let's not get encircled. Get some help here. Fête de Souverain. Since 1861, the Principality of Monaco has had close relations with France. Nominally independent, the tiny state heavily relied on France for most of its flourishing economy, depended on French money, invested or lost in Monte Carlo's casinos. The two neighbors eventually agreeing to sign a treaty of protective friendship. Staying neutral in 1914, the Principality eventually found itself in a difficult situation. The civil war in France and a revolution brewing in Italy, as communist militias were closing in on the rock, a symbol of rampant capitalism under which the bourgeoisie gambled away the produce of the proletariat's hard work. Albert I chose exile, taking with him the fabulous riches of the Grimaldi family and setting up a court in exile, before being succeeded by his son in 1922. Louis II had served as an officer in the Foreign Legion, fighting at the Marne and the Chemin des Dames, earning himself the nickname Soldier Prince, and a promotion to the rank of general. Since his coronation, Louis has been desperately fighting for his unilaterally annexed principality. He has found some success extracting recognition of his government in exile from countries opposed to the Commune. An admirer of Marshal Pétain, the prince has furthermore been funding various far-right initiatives, steering clear, however, of the Action Française, which had run a vicious press campaign against the principality during the Great War, Monaco being smeared as a den of German spies in the Jewish capital. Today is a joyous occasion. This tiny Monegasque community in exile celebrates Sovereign's Day, Monaco's national day, falling on the prince's patron saint's feast. A lavish party has been organized, with many of France's political elites and numerous foreign diplomats being assembled in the prince's palace on the outskirts of Algiers. An occasion will no doubt used to further his cause. Next year in Monaco. Okay. Then we can come down this way into the Circle of Madrid. That'd be nice. Got that. Let's start working on our mech. Maybe now is the time where we want to start getting some of these buffs here. Efficiency growth. Or we could. It's nice to get that extra efficiency base. That was like pretty cool to get. Riches of Africa. Get some oil and some political power. We could get total war. Get research. Research gain efficiency. That's a pretty nice buff to have too. So is this production buff. Efficiency cap and efficiency growth is pretty good though. Let's work towards that so we can have that for when we flip our tank over. Kill these guys in the grid. How's that resistance going? Mobile defense. Like we could probably farm some more army experience and get that to boost that, which we probably want. German Empire division over there too. We're gonna kill. Clash against the Tuaregs. I think this is the same event again. Yeah. That'll teach them. Damn Tuaregs. And we got Madrid. Get to the Portuguese border there. Kill these guys here. I think I'm going to go 10-10 with the Amtracs just to get the extra previous bonus. And these are all mountains, like it's probably best to let these guys just run themselves out of work. Or the AI can do it, that's fine. I'm not gonna waste tanks. That civilian heroism. Nationalist Algerian book seized. So I guess that's the again that's a repeat event. Companions of Joan of Arc. The Companions of Joan of Arc is an association honoring the memory of the patron saint of France, canonized in 1920 in the aftermath of the Revolution. Founded in 1930 by Maxime Riel de Delsart, an artist close to the Action Française. After the man organized for a relic of the saint to be smuggled out of the commune, the association describes itself as apolitical, simply stating that it seeks to bring together all those of goodwill around she who saved France in her hour of need, and so perfectly embodies our aspirations for the freedom of our nation. Indeed, each year the patriotic celebrations organized around the shrine built for the relic are more and more popular, with tens of thousands in attendance for a day culminating in an open-air mass, including numerous parliamentarians, officials, bishops, intellectuals, veterans, and officers, and this year even Henri Mortac himself. However, despite the association claiming that it seeks to remain apolitical, and the Pucelle being revered by most of the political spectrum, many seek to use the event to further their political agenda. Both the Action Française and Parti Social Français have repeatedly been caught distributing leaflets, supporters of the two parties sometimes even coming to blows. However, these minor incidents have not hampered the general enthusiasm for the celebrations, and the companions expect even more attendance next year. Saint Jean of France, hear our prayers, and come save France once again. looks like all their troops are busy occupied elsewhere, so let's go seize Seville. And all this other stuff. Excellent. So we've won the war for the Carlists. Like, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. Don't let those guys come back. Go up to 5 speed. And these guys probably been training for like way too long. It's wasting infantry equipment. Let's okay, you guys are rifles. And these guys over here can be that, I guess. Steel, let's get steel from the Australasians. I mean, they're on our team, so we can do that. So where should we send our tanks next? So we'll go with, we'll roll out with that. Have we picked a side over here? No. We have New England, so we're not, I guess, not sending volunteers to America. So I guess we'll just sit on that for now. Eat again. So Jerusalem is their capital? What the fuck? Or no, this is something else. So Jerusalem is its own city. The color is just the same. Okay. War in the desert. Rebellion in Yemen. Okay, so you have like the desert war going on there. That's interesting. Are you guys doing any reinforced assaults? It looks like we might have to send our guys over here to help the Italians soon. Great Syrian revolt. Syria has revolted. So that's a new event. So it looks like the war in the desert has been revamped a little bit. Maybe a lot of it. Interesting. Can we afford to give engineers to our rifle guys? No, we can. We can't afford engineers. Like I guess we'll do that then. Rewards for productivity. And we should probably start picking up some military staff. We'll of course be going for the School of Maneuver guy. Train those guys a little bit, get them back up to regular status. And if you have a small army, you might as well. So Armenia uprising. Okay. It looks like that's a much messier war now. Got that. Yes, we'll save our tanks to send to one of these guys over here. The Risorgimento. I would expect them to attack soon. Hey, that usually happens before World War II, right? Who are we? Nepal. We're at war with Nepal. Okay, I guess we're at war with fucking Nepal, so that's fine. Our finest hour. It's not a new event. Burnt out village. Okay, so this is like the same thing. We'll just go after them again. I think that's the same event we had before. Lost in the sand. So unfortunately we weren't able to hunt them down through the sandstorm this time. So that's unfortunate. We're getting close to the volunteer law in some of these places though. That's nice. Good to have a bit more manpower. Start training another unit of tanks.
Pareil. Attention.
Nationalist leaflets in Tunis. We won't forget. We won't fight for the Frenchmen. So this is like okay. This is like another another one of them events. Move you over there. I'm rooting out that resistance. There you go. So 2 Sicilies. Fortunately, we can't send volunteers because we're at war with the fucking Nepalese. I don't know. Hopefully India can like handle their shit here. Guess we'll send them some planes. Alright, so Dahomey is no longer an occupied puppet. Muscat capitulates. Kanarki, Can Railroad sabotaged. I guess we're just gonna get those events all game. Production efficiency growth, like that'll be pretty sick to get to. So we'll do that. Marshall Network. For months now, rumors of a highly effective network operating in the east of France may have reached our intelligence service, but it proved impossible to get truly a hold of. Indeed, it seems that none of the operatives even know the name of their hierarchical superior, and meetings are kept to a strict minimum. We have finally been contacted by its leader, Alsatian textile industrialist Paul Dungler, nicknamed Commandant Marshal, a citizen of the Reich. With German cash given under the pretenses of funding study of the Geneste flower in the hills of the Vosges region, Commandant Marshal quickly built a disciplined network gathering information and communard infrastructure and troop movements in the east, implementing weapons and explosives caches all over the Vosges and in Alsace, creating armed networks in Lorraine, as well as stay-behind groups should the commune advance past the Vosges. However, unbeknownst to his German patrons, Dungler believes that Alsace is a rightful part of France, and his network has been gathering an immense wealth of information from within the German intelligence framework, as well as cultivating links within the armies of the Reich of disgruntled Alsatian soldiers and officers. He has now offered us his services as a double agent, giving us access to his network to prepare for the liberation of France. And we'd be foolish to refuse. The Germans know his network as the Ressel Marshal Network. Thus he will become the Alsace 7th column, as the deeply Catholic Dungler believes 7 is a holy number. However, his attention is obviously divided between the Commune and the Reich, which could hamper the effectiveness of his work against the Reds that he himself calls anti-civilization. What should we do? Let's ask him to focus on the communards for now, yes. The impossible Hajj. Hajj is a pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca established by the Prophet Muhammad. Each year, untold numbers from all corners of the Ummah undertake this journey to the Hijaz. Indeed, this pilgrimage is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Never faithful with the means to do so is called upon to visit the holiest of cities at least once. More than a simple trip, this pilgrimage is meant to be a time of spiritual renewal, purification, and equality in front of God for the mu'min. All over the world, authorities offer their protection to the pilgrims, and France is no exception. Since 1916, the French government, in cooperation with Muslim notables, organizes the Hajj of many, giving the opportunity for those who could not otherwise afford it to fulfill this holy obligation. Established by the secular republic, this involvement in religious affairs could seem peculiar, but passing on this opportunity for France to establish herself as an ally of Muslims would be foolish, as this perception is critical to the stability of the empire. Once an adventure fraught with danger, whether these be neutral or from caravan raids, the voyage is now much more accessible. Or so we thought. With the eruption of war in the Marshik between the Ottomans and their Arab subjects, undertaking the pilgrimage would be incredibly perilous. Not only the Hejaz itself is in the midst of deep instability, but the whole of the Levant is teeming with opposing armies, rebel bands and bandits, the distinction between these groups being more than occasionally difficult to find. Tales of determined pilgrims being robbed, accused of espionage, and massacred along the way have already reached us, and so our government has decided not to form an official French caravan this year, instead encouraging the faithful to visit local pilgrimage sites. Maybe next year it will be peaceful. Like, why are we at war with Nepal? This is a bit silly. also the Republic of South Africa. Portugal is Portugal on the Entente team. They are. Maybe we should
Aye.
send those guys over there along with our tank. Assassination in Chad. Grave news has arrived to the colonial headquarters of Chad in Abéché. Another French official got attacked this morning and later died in the hospital. These assassinations of Frenchmen are fairly frequent as a sign of protests against colonial rule, which has a record of brutally imposing its decisions in the recently conquered region of Chad. Investigation is always hard in a region where the population isn't cooperative, and it's likely we will never find the murderer, as always. Jerusalem capitulates. So I guess we are allowed to like move through the strat, redeploy through the desert now, so I mean that's something. Some more mills. Also it's Eid. It's a bit Wunderbar. So our left behinds there. I mean, I guess we can accept that. It doesn't really matter.
Arrêtez. Aux ordres. Aux ordres.
Infantry, I guess we can go with this guy for infantry.
Attention.
How's that resistance looking? It's alright, I guess.
Aye.
IDC review, I guess we'll invest 25 political power.
Écoutez.
And we will get them to assist with our economy. Damn, not South Rhodesia. Let's get the anti-air upgrade. Alright, and I think having the extra production efficiency base is like pretty cool too. So, level 4 main gun. Get another steel from can't. It looks like not a whole lot of people are from Carlos Spain, I guess. North Africa Cup football was introduced in North Africa by the French amateur clubs made up of colonists and garrison soldiers formed as early as the 1890s, with the Orient Athletic Club claiming to be the oldest football club in not just Algeria but all of Africa. Solely indigenous clubs formed, the first being Algiers Mouloudia Club in 1921, and these days football has become an incredibly popular pastime for many of our citizens, with children playing in every street, stadiums being built, and solid fan bases consolidating around clubs that pop up in every neighborhood. Regrouped into departmental leagues, these amateur clubs participate in a year-long competition, the best eventually competing in the North African Football Cup with clubs from Algeria, Tunisia, and even Morocco. These matches draw huge crowds, the occasion to play out in the most friendly manner, rivalry between nations, regions, and between colonists and natives. This latter phenomenon has increasingly worried authorities who want to avoid at all costs that Muslim clubs begin incarnating any kind of contestation of colonial order. However, banning these clubs would simply be making martyrs of them, and so instead the government has opted for a policy of integration, pressuring clubs to field both natives and colonists, a policy that has proved unpopular on both sides but slowly seems to be bearing fruit. This year, the North African Cup final was played between Algiers University Racing and Algiers Gallia Sport, with the University club winning 2-0 after a tense match and goals narrowly avoided by the club's goalkeeper, a young man named Albert Camus. Congratulations to the winners. You guys are not at war. So we're at war with South Africa. The Portuguese are in our faction, but they are not at war with South Africa. Okay?
Attention.
Can't call an ally into the war, can't join this. So Portugal is not allowed to join this war. That's a bit silly, I guess. I don't know. This war seems like a little bit dumb. Recognize their government in exile there. Ooh, this is a man, the legend himself.
Attention.
Is there only one unit on this order? Yikes. That's bad. I screwed that up. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky here.
Ordre.
Brazil decides to go to war with Sao Paulo. Let's start researching that.
Écoutez. Vos ordres.
Decisions. I guess we don't need war propaganda. The Grand Illusion. The Grand Illusion, a war film featuring an all-star cast, is quickly becoming the most successful and controversial movie of the last few years. Set in a German prison camp during the Great War, the movie follows three French officers, one of the working-class background, an aristocrat, and a nouveau riche naturalized Polish Jew, and their efforts to escape captivity. Their plots foiled multiple times, the men never lose hope, promising each other to meet in the Paris once war is won. The officers cautiously fraternize with their German jailer, but never lose sight of their goal. The aristocrat sacrifices himself to allow his companions to escape, traveling through the German countryside, eventually being sheltered by a widow. One falls in love. However, a sense of duty forces him to continue his journey back to France, and the officers are finally able to rejoin the fight. The end, however, is ambiguous. The final shot allows an empty table of a Parisian restaurant, as heavy fighting seems to take place outside, leaving the fate of the men unknown. The movie, tackling a wide variety of themes such as class, prejudice, patriotism, and duty with the phenomenal actors and humor, has been a hit. However, its humanistic approach, showcasing sympathetic German characters as well as characters who consider the war ultimately futile, has been highly debated, with many accusing the movie of pacifism. Abroad, the reception has been mixed, as the movie was heavily censored in Germany, dismissed as reactionary propaganda in the Commune for its themes of class collaboration and showcase of the aristocracy as laudable tragic figures. Praised in the United States, even being shown in the White House. In any case, it has become an instant classic. How did that manage to go past censors? Who is in the White House anyways in the States right now? Jackie Reed.
Vos ordres.
You guys don't need to be training anymore. we get another tank research boost, which is pretty strong when stacked on top of the one you get from De Gaulle.
Gardez vos rangs. Écoutez. Écoutez. Pareil.
So make sure they don't attack us before our tank can org.
Continuez d'avancer.
This is mountain, plains, desert. Let's go for that airbase.
Écoutez. Attention. Bougez-vous. Bougez-vous. Écoutez. Bougez-vous. Attention. Gardez vos rangs.
Fuel storage.
Gardez vos rangs. Aux ordres. Bougez-vous.
Keep on going that way, I guess. Might also want to get some fuel silos up too.
Continuez l'attaque.
And oil. Guess we'll get an oil from the Pacific States of America.
Gardez vos rangs. Aux ordres.
It
Attention.
looks like a lot of this army is just kind of trashy militia units. Let's send that to this army.
Attention. Pareil. Aux ordres. Écoutez.
Let's not waste our manpower.
C'est parti. Gardez vos rangs. Écoutez.
Oh, we got investment. Let's get a civilian factory.
Écoutez. Écoutez. Allez, allez, allez.
Grab up this way.
Aux ordres.
For our Rhodesian friends from whatever this mess is.
Bougez-vous. Continuez l'attaque. Pareil. Aux ordres. Écoutez. C'est parti.
Attack those guys over there.
Écoutez. Écoutez. Bougez-vous.
We can march down to Cape Town here.
Pareil. Continuez l'attaque. Aux ordres.
Come around that way.
Bougez-vous.
Just like grinding mountains, though, that's a bit of a piss off.
Parez. Parez. Écoutez. Attention.
Circle that cavalry division there. Radio Algiers. The returning in a radio broadcast is nothing new for our countrymen still under the red yoke. Corsica is, after all, only a few miles from the mainland. I take a drink there, sorry. A new station broadcasting from Algiers has been specially created to give true news to the metropole and to transmit coded messages to our supporters within the commune. Such as instructions and information disguised as private messages from the people separated from their loved ones by the current circumstances. This measure was necessary to coordinate the various actions taken by opponents to the syndicalist regime, such as distribution of tracts, preparations to hamper the war effort, recruitment, bribery, or discreet weapon training as tensions ramp up a bit more each day. Though the resistance is still far from being able to rise as one against the communards, establishing this radio station will go a long way towards making sure the efforts of our brothers will not be in vain. Once we land on their shores, we'll be ready to do all they can for free France. Les Français parlent en français. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Attention. Gardez vos rangs.
Seal these guys up over here.
Aux ordres. On se magne. C'est parti.
Alright, there we go. That should be it for these guys.
Bougez-vous. Aux ordres. Gardez vos rangs.
Attack on patrol in Niger. I guess another same old event. The resistance climbing.
Attention. Aux ordres.
And great, the Icelandic. I'm sure they will be a great help to us.
Bougez-vous.
Use the rails there, maybe. Get a lot of steel there. Win wars with trucks. Let's get the. What does logistics support do? Supply consumption in logistics and maintenance company. I mean, that's pretty good. Let's get the bonus for mech though.
Aux ordres. Écoutez. Bougez-vous. Attention. Continuez d'avancer. Bougez-vous.
Bloemfontein.
Allez.
So I guess they pieced out with Muscat there. Those guys exercise. We need some more steel. Let's get another steel from the Pacific states. Some tungsten from Porto. And now we're over trading for steel. French Republic. So I guess I'm getting all this land over here. That's interesting. It looks like a different blue. Maybe it's because it's contrasted with the orange. I mean, like when you zoom out enough, like it's obvious that it is, you know, the correct color. But That's cool. Like, maybe we'll get to annex South Africa.
Gardez vos rangs. Aux ordres.
Let's say Spain join the Entente. That would be great. That'd be excellent for us. They did. They did join the Entente, so it was worth it. Our fight in that civil war was worth it.
Pareil. Écoutez. Bougez-vous. Gardez vos rangs. Aux ordres. Attention. Bougez-vous. Aux ordres. Gardez vos rangs.
Fill in a bit here.
Pareil. Bougez-vous. Continuez d'avancer. Bougez-vous. Bougez-vous.
Shut off that cav. So South Africa should be pretty dead soon. Pretty dead soon. Let's get the... Like, maybe we should get the head of intelligence. Like, that'd be pretty useful for us. We have like, lots of resistance to suppress. Among other things. Seems like that might be a good buy. So let's go ahead and do that. I probably should have done that like a lot earlier.
Attention.
We are political power constrained a little bit, so...
Bougez-vous.
Armored cars. Pierre de Coubertin dies. Pierre de Coubertin, born in 1863, historian, educator, journalist, founder of the International Olympic Committee, has died of a heart attack at 74 years old. Born in a royalist family but rallied to the Republic, he turned down the opportunity of a military career and instead dedicated his life to pedagogy and sports. Himself a proficient athlete, promoting the integration of physical activity and education. But de Coubertin had an even greater objective, popularize sports by internationalizing them and for them to become an instrument of peace and greater understanding between peoples through peaceful competition and sportsmanship. Hoping to further his utopian goal, de Coubertin turned to the ancient Greece and her Pan-Hellenic Games, and the first Olympics in almost 2 millennia took place in 1894 in Athens. But even the reborn Olympics couldn't prevent the madness of the Great War, and following the revolution, the Baron had to flee to Algeria like so many others. Already heartbroken by the death at the front of his two nephews, a diplomatic blunder of the 1924 Berlin Olympics that neither France's attended, and the subsequent establishment of the Spartacades left de Coubertin a broken shell of a man, his dream crumbling before his eyes. Following the announcement of his death, the government nonetheless put out a statement praising him, and the Greek government has announced its intention to build a monument honoring the Baron in Olympia. The important thing in life is not the triumph, but the struggle, right? Okay.
Aux ordres.
Alright, so we've picked up armored cars. Let's go and grab these resources, the riches of Africa.
Attention. Bougez-vous. Gardez vos rangs. Aux ordres. Gardez vos rangs. Pareil. Bougez-vous. Aux ordres.
This is looking at right here.
Pareil.
We can get down to Pretoria.
Pareil. Gardez vos rangs. Attention. Gardez vos rangs. Attention.
Alright, we got Pretoria, so that's pretty cool.
Bougez-vous. Smile. Pareil. Gardez vos rangs. Aux ordres.
Johannesburg.
Bougez-vous.
Our capital's up there in Salisbury.
Écoutez.
That's like rightful Rhodesian territory. So I guess I have the most war score. I don't know. Do I want any of this land? So what's this? So the UK is gonna take some stuff. I don't know. Like I feel like I should take some stuff too. It's a bit ugly. So I guess we got that. Let's I guess bring our guys back home. We'll probably need these guys for the front here. Should maybe we should just like deploy into Spain. Forests. Probably best to try and push it in back through Spain. Like we got Spain, so like maybe we should just have our guys over here already.
Allez.
So go deploy our guys there. Drop you off in Algiers. Up to 5 speed. It's 20 political power day. Yeah, I love political power. Fate of South Africa. I guess we'll remove the protectorates. So we get to keep this this clay over here, which has 1 civilian factory. That's pretty gross. Also Southern Rhodesia. At least we have some colonies now, right? That's a plus. So is a commando. Let's also start reducing some more resistance. Maybe not there. I'll have you reduce resistance here. Azerbaijan joined the Istanbul Pact. Okay, so we got a medium SP anti-air. And we get construction. Let's get construction. Or I don't know. What do we have for resources? Do we want to do excavation? Might be helpful. Get steel and some chromium. Not really, actually. Like we're getting close to go times. Like maybe we'll start picking up some of these upgrades here. I should have read that event. No, you don't need to be training. We'll send you over here too. I'll send you over to Spain, and you can train. It's fine. Total war in the mines. I could do group population. We don't really need that. Division training time, group population factor. We could get this over here. Get more Marines. Tank research boost. That'd be alright. I don't need that yet. Probably don't need breakthrough. Mobilization speed. I don't know. This is a pretty nice boost over here. You have to do all this other shit though. Let's go for the total war. Okay, so this factory output.
Attention.
Go with that. So you can get like a pretty good medium tank out. Like if you went to Gall's path and then picked this guy over here, you could have rushed this other focus. So you can get like a medium tank. I mean, it wouldn't be as fast as Russia, but you can still get your medium tank out pretty quickly. I don't think we'll build this. Like we're gonna try and make Amtraks. I think I was saying there.
Attention.
And I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it to waste the tanks. We'll just dump this guy over here. And this is this requires 500 units.
Aux ordres.
I'm also a bit concerned that we don't. I guess we do have the anti-air chassis now, though. So the anti-air armament. So we'll do that. Let's convert some from stockpile if we can do that. And we'll get ourselves the armored spearhead guy. I think we're pretty much guaranteed not to have air superiority here, so yeah, that'll be nice to get ourselves some protection. Need 44 units, 74 days. I mean, that's fine. Wall Creek 2 should be starting anytime now. I think those dirty Frenchies are probably doing Alsace-Lorraine, aren't they? Oh, there it is. Even. Yes, you know, I knew it would happen. There's Well Creek 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Arrêt.
I'll have you guys stop training.
Écoutez.
And maybe we'll just make sure we don't lose Algeria. Let's give you, I don't know, whatever guy.
Aux ordres. Gardez vos rangs.
You got a lot of rifles from South Africa. And no, I don't need just delete that template. It keeps on confusing me.